My camera doesn't have a tripod, so it's being held together, kind of like that kid in your 3rd grade class that's playing with his tooth. Same idea, equally as reckless. It's like, oh wow, sick, thanks for saying don't worry about that.
Oh, well, you're not supposed to eat unhealthy.
I you not, that actually happened. Shout out Alex. He asked me to make a video about dealing with anxiety when starting in the gym. I want to start this video off by saying everyone's experience is going to be very different. I definitely did and still deal with certain types of anxiety. This is going to be a little bit of kind of like a Q&A as well, because I definitely asked you guys on Instagram to share with me your different experiences. I'll kind of go through how I would deal with that. When I started at the gym, I was always very skinny. I will find one. And I will put a picture right here of me when I just started at the gym. I started at the end of high school before I transitioned into university. And I was always very skinny, had the hole in my chest, pectus excavatum. So it really made me look even skinnier than I was. I actually used to try eating bowls of cereal out of my chest. I you not, that actually happened. That's kind of how I got into the gym. I was always self-conscious about my pectus excavatum, and I was always a super skinny kid, and I couldn't put on weight no matter how much I ate, and I'm sure my mom also was concerned about it to a certain extent. And then I got type 1 diabetes in high school, so I lost a lot of weight. I don't think I have any photos of that. That would have been 9th grade. I would have been about 14 years old in 2009. Lost a lot of weight. I ended up being like 85 pounds and super underweight for sure. And then after I got my diagnosis of diabetes, got that, I want to say, under control. It was never under control, but it's always a work in progress. Even today, you know, my diabetes is definitely a work in progress. So that's always something I've been self-conscious about, is how far can I push myself? Can I push myself as far as everyone else? If you guys don't know me, I played semi-professional tennis, or I was at least a competitive tennis player. I was always wondering, you know, how far can I push myself? Can I push myself as hard as everybody else? These kind of things went to my head. You know, I can't have a low blood sugar, because if I have a low blood sugar, I'll faint or I'll pass out. And a lot of different things happen along the way where I was challenged. There's always something that causes me anxiety, and to lesser and greater degrees depending on what it is, but definitely my can I be good enough given my type 1 diabetes has always been like an overlying issue for me. I got into the gym because I wanted to build that muscle for performance reasons, and then, you know, I got obsessed with the improvements that I was seeing, so that's another big reason. But let's get into the questions and see what you guys came up with. Alright, losing belly fat. What I can say to that, like losing belly fat, is don't worry about that. It's like, oh wow, sick, thanks for saying don't worry about that. But the reality is everyone is in that gym because they're so worried about themselves. Nobody's looking at your pudgy belly or whatever it is that you're concerned about, because at the end of the day, they're looking at themselves and like they're thinking the same thing you're thinking. They're thinking, oh God, is anybody looking at me in my belly, or is anybody looking at me in my lack of muscle, or is anybody looking at me in my bad pull-ups? Like whatever it is, people are like super self-conscious about their own thing. Always feel like the fit people look at me with my baby whale body. Sir, this is what a baby whale looks like, depending on the breed. You definitely don't look like a baby whale. And honestly, for the most part, I would say that it's very important to pick what your goal is. Don't go in there with just like a goal of like, oh, I want to lose weight. That's super vague. And also, what does that look like? Give yourself a defined goal of something you want to work towards, and work towards that. Because fit people, odds are, the people that are already fit, people like myself, I'll put myself in that category, is I'm working on like, oh, I want to go improve my chest, or I want to improve my bench, I want to improve my squat by X amount, I want to do this, that. They've got performance-related goals and things that are very specific and quantifiable that they want to improve. That's what they're thinking about. Maybe, you know, somebody comes around, they got a gym crush, and then they start thinking about that kind of thing, you know, from a romance kind of perspective. Maybe that's something. Nobody's looking at you guys. And I feel like this is going to be a theme in all of these questions. Shout out ALLO, by the way. Protein for hot coffee. This is an iced coffee, but I still have ALLO protein in there. Using a machine incorrectly, to be honest. Specifically around adjusting the machine and proper range of motion. That one is a tough one as it relates to range of motion. There's a few machines that I can think of, like the chest fly machine or pec deck machine. That's one that always caused me a lot of struggle when I was starting. And also the leg extension and curl, because it's a combination machine. It's like, even to this day, I still feel these issues. And one thing that you gotta understand is life is a work in progress. It's really just trial and error. You'll figure it out as you go, but the more times you practice it, the more times you set it to one range of motion, you do do that whole range of motion the entire day, and then you go, well, you know what, maybe I could have pushed it further, and then next time you adjust, and it truly is a work in progress. That is absolutely a great point. Did and still sometimes does make me feel self-conscious. I've posted many videos on my TikTok and Instagram. If you don't follow me already, at Evidence Nutrition on Instagram and TikTok. It can be like super momentarily embarrassing, but at the end of the day, remember, everyone, doesn't matter what part of their journey they're in, they have done that and gone through that struggle. There's not one person on earth that has looked at a machine and been like, I know exactly how this works for every machine. You know what I'm saying? Dieting after bulking while wondering if the strength gains made much of an optical difference. Yeah, based on optics, I don't know how much of a difference that'll make. I do always kind of wonder, like, when I diet down and I'm like heavier now than my last diet down, will I have any strength left? How much strength will I lose? And will I be stronger than the last time I dieted down? It doesn't really cause me anxiety for me personally, and hopefully it doesn't actually cause you anxiety around the gym. Also a valid question. That's almost like a curiosity, not an anxiety. When I was a little younger, I was afraid of being hate crimes at the gym. I'm gay. This is something that obviously I can't personally relate to. I'm a straight male. I'm also white, so optically, I've got it made. I have my issues for sure that I have to deal with. Everyone has their issues that they have to deal with. But to be honest, like, I can understand where people are coming from on this one. I would hope that right now, you know, at least myself, and I know that in the fitness industry in general, people are working towards fostering a far more inclusive environment. So today that this might not be true, but definitely don't be afraid to be yourself. I love the saying, be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. You're the best at being yourself. You're not going to be good at trying to emulate someone else. And eventually you're going to drop character, and, you know, you're going to make a mistake somewhere. And if people don't like you for who you are, then those people aren't for you. And same goes for if you don't feel comfortable in a gym because of your sexuality or because of the way you express yourself, that's not the gym for you. I don't care if you live in a small town, if you live somewhere, that's not for you. I never knew what to do in the gym. It was hard to figure out how to start. Yeah, definitely hard to figure out how to start. Do a little bit of research. And by that, I mean, set a little plan. Give yourself an outline for what you expect to see, even if it's just the day before, so that you at least have your bearings on like what ideas you want, like what you want to accomplish. Like, if you go into the gym and hit the same workout every single time, you're not going to be able to progress as quickly as if you got yourself a split. Doesn't matter what it is. Push, pull legs, upper, lower, push legs, pull, upper, lower, whatever it is. Full body split, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. If you are doing a split, you are more likely to stay on track because you just go in and you're like, all right, I know I have to do this. This is what I'm doing. Because you're already going to walk in there, especially if you don't know where the equipment is, you're already going to walk around and be like, okay, where is this machine? And there's plenty of workouts online. I do have a workout posted on my website if you guys would like to support me. You can go and get that. It's a 5-day workout. There are plenty of workouts, though, that you can find on Reddit, online everywhere for free as well. You can literally just Google them, get yourself a split, work hard at it, train till a rep or two away from failure, and that'll be a great place to start. People judging me for not being able to lift heavier weight. You know, I really, like, do you judge people for not being able to lift heavier weight? Like, I personally have never judged anyone for not being able to lift heavy weight. The only example that I can think of is like putting on 2 5-pound dumbbells and chest pressing it beside a bodybuilder who's got like 2 100s in his hand. Maybe if it's a bodybuilding gym, when you're doing your orientation, you can see that and understand, okay, it's not the spot for me. Or maybe it's not the time for you to come work out, like around 5 p.m. in the evening. Consider going at a different time if you feel like you are being stigmatized around the weight you are lifting. Speaking of stigmatized, the stigma against using machines instead of free weights. This is an interesting one. I didn't know that this existed, but I suppose so. I know that there's like that functional strength and whatnot. Just remember that there's a place and time for everything. The machines are far more often used to isolate. For example, the hack squat versus the regular squat. You can get far more knee flexion in a hack squat than you can in a traditional squat. That's just added stimulus to a specific area. They're just different. There's a time and place for each of them, and I can't believe that they're stigmatized. You know, I guess it's the world we live in. Definitely don't need to worry about that, though. Just remember that they have a place. Going to a new gym and not knowing the layout, wasting time finding stuff. Yeah, that's a big one. Honestly, that's one that's plagued me a lot of the time. I always like to see before I get in there, just because I know myself and I know when I get anxious, I always like to ask the front desk, hey, can you guys give me a walkthrough or kind of just explain where everything is and how to find everything? Once I find the first piece of equipment that I'm going to use, I start looking. I'm seated at that one, pretending to text, look up and around, and try to spot where the next piece of equipment that I'll need is. Once I find where the next piece of equipment that I need is, I can go, all right, that's the next one. That's where we're going. The last thing you want to be doing is like, in the middle of the gym. Lifting heavy without a spotter. Yeah, that's a quick way to drop a dookie for sure. Lifting heavy without a spotter can be absolutely terrifying. If I can recommend one thing, if you're lifting bench, do not lift with clips so that if you get stuck, you can save yourself a little bit. That's the only thing I would recommend there. And the other thing is, if you're lifting heavy, don't lift your 1 rep max without a spotter there. I would definitely just say drop the weights a little bit, hit a few extra reps, and go for a heavy lift when you have a spotter available. Just make sure that you can work the muscle till closer to failure, so drop the weight a little bit. But I oftentimes don't lift that heavy that I need a spotter anyway. Not anymore, at least. That's kind of like a phase that I left, I feel like. Not knowing how to do exercises with proper form. That's a tough one. YouTube is a great free resource to learn from a lot of people who have done it before. I'll even give a link to my friend Jeremy. He makes YouTube videos on a lot of different form, a lot of different exercises, and how to use exercises to optimize for your performance. Additionally, this is what personal trainers are for, right? I know it might be expensive, but it could be worth the investment for them to go through an hour or 2 hours to try to teach you the exercises you're struggling with the most. And again, put in that time online when you're at home to just look at exercises and the form and how you can do them correctly. Going to the gym with all the fit people there. Again, all the fit people are proud of you too. They know if anyone is fit, nobody was born fit. We were all born as blobs and became fit. Everybody that is fit knows how hard it is to get there. Whether they were chunkier and lost some weight and got fit, or whether they were super skinny and put on some muscle. Either way, they know the struggle that it took to get there. So don't for a second think that people, just because they're fit, that they're judging you. You're thinking about it because it's something you're self-conscious about. You're insecure about that. Just remember that they know what you are going through because they had to go through a similar, if not the exact same struggle. Going to the gym with guys who look like you, or for me, younger guys. Every gym that runs is a gym to make money. You're going to struggle to find a gym that doesn't have fit people at it, or young guys like me. I'm sorry that causes you anxiety, but again, just remember, on the comment of age, like, I find it really impressive when people are older and like they're in the gym and doing pull-ups. Like, there's a guy at my gym here, Gary. He's a little bit of an older gentleman, and this man is I believe he's in his 70s, recently had a stroke, and he can do pull-ups. Like, he does like 12 pull-ups, and every time he is at the gym, I just look at him and I'm like, how are you doing this, dude? And it's so impressive. If anything, I think you should be flattered when you go to the gym, especially if you're a little bit on the older side, because it's super impressive. Like, that's goals for me, you know what I mean? I want to aspire to be you one day. So self-conscious of the way I look. It's only you thinking about it. Everyone that is fit in the gym knows what it takes to get fit and knows how big of a struggle that is. Doesn't matter how lucky you think they are to win the genetic lottery or whatever. Nah, it's hard to maintain fit. Being seen in the gym using the machine/exercise is wrong. Well, again, a good way to prevent that is by doing a little bit of research before you use the machine, before you come to the gym. If you have an idea that you want to use a piece of equipment, great. Take into account that there are some machines that are kind of confusing to use, and just know that not everybody knew how to use them from the jump. You might look silly in your head, but at the same time, just remember, like, one, everybody had that day where they didn't really know how to use the equipment, and two, you know, I just don't think it's that serious. Like, how wrong could it look? Also, how many people are actually watching? Probably none. I got sick of letting fear hold me back from joining the gym. Now I'm in one and so glad I got past the fear. Awesome. I'm really proud of you. That it takes a lot of effort, I know, to get past fears and insecurities. Really awesome to see that you can challenge yourself and get past that. Congratulations. And that was the same kind of thing for me, is like, you have two options. One, wish that you had the body you've always wanted and just sit there. Or two, wish that you had the body and go to the gym and do something about it. Either way, you're still going to be wishing you had that body, but on one hand, you'll be a lot closer than on the other hand. I don't know if that made any sense, but the amount of protein that I have to consume daily, I didn't know that made people anxious, but somewhere around 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. So for myself, that's anywhere from like 160 grams to 220 grams of protein per day. I didn't know that I actually needed to start slow. I thought the more weight, the better. Yeah, definitely start slow. Learn the exercises. I mean, there's certain exercises that you can't do without a load. For example, the squat is very different when it's with load on your back than it is without. It is important to always start slow, right? You don't want to be going too hard, too fast, and you're going to hurt yourself. Also, overtraining in the context of doing too much too quick overtraining is the easiest way to an injury. Gotta start slow. Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone's in a different spot in their fitness journey. This is for life. You're going to the gym and you've really set a goal for yourself and you want to achieve something, but it's for life. You don't want to just hit that achievement, be like, yes, I got that body, and then what? Turn into a blob for the rest of your life and go back to where you were? Probably not. You're trying to change your lifestyle. Set goals that are sustainable. Set goals that you can hit over time. Set goals that are quantifiable, something that you can actually write down on paper and understand like when you've hit that goal. And most importantly, be persistent. Only you will come in and fight for you every single day. Dealing with anxiety was a real struggle for me to get into the gym, and it continues to be. Even as I'm a fit person, I get it all the time, and it happened to me in the grocery store yesterday when I see someone that I know and they saw me grabbing like chips for salsa and ice cream, and I get that,
oh, well, you're not supposed to eat unhealthy.
I'm diabetic too, and so people go,
oh, you can't eat that, you can't do this because it's too sweet, too much sugar, too much this and that.
And I get anxious and I feel bad about it. It really gets me. It's one of my biggest pet peeves because, you know, why is my education all of a sudden a reason for you to make me feel bad about the foods that I want to eat or about the things that I want to do with my day? It doesn't cost anything to be nice. And just remember that everyone's journey starts somewhere. You're never going to start something and be good at it. So start wherever you're starting. Understand that you'll suck ass at it for a little while, but you'll always improve. When you sit at the bottom of a hill, everything from there is up. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a different one. It's a little bit of a longer one, so I'm very thankful for anyone that stuck around to hear my annoying voice for this long. Thank you guys so much for all the support and everything. If you guys want to see something new, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new. Follow me on Instagram at Evidence Nutrition and on TikTok, and I will see you guys tomorrow.